So as I said in the last one, in this video, I'm going to be exposing brands that brought their cancellations 100% upon themselves by treating their customers or their employees badly. And the good news is this video is just as juicy as the last one. Hey, what's up IOers? It's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel, I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 brands that canceled themselves part 2. And before I get into it, make sure you like and subscribe down below for more juicy videos like this. So starting off at number 10, we have Amazon. So this one is somewhat fresh tea, so I wanted to include it first. So if you didn't know, Amazon owns Whole Foods, and Whole Foods got in a lot of backlash a few weeks ago when in response to the global virus, they told employees that one option for getting more time off or sick days during all this is to donate their paid time off to coworkers facing medical emergencies, with the CEO saying in an internal memo, quote, "Team members who have a medical emergency or passing in their immediate family can receive donated paid time off hours," Mackey wrote in an email reviewed by Motherboard. Then the company said they would offer unlimited unpaid time off for those who want it and paid time off for those found to have contracted the virus. And this ticked a lot of people off, as Amazon is one of the richest companies in the world right now, with Jeff Bezos being the world's richest person running it. And it seemed to everyone online that they could pretty easily afford to pay its hourly employees for sick days taken during this time without breaking the bank. But instead, they ask their hourly wage employees, who are probably already struggling, to donate their paid time off. So this is just a recent one, but the company has been in so many scandals regarding how they treat their employees and the fact that they are decimating a lot of businesses in their global rise. Next up at number 9, McDonald's. So McDonald's is another brand that constantly gets into hot water regarding how they treat their employees, even though they are the highest grossing restaurant chain in America. Ranker even gave the company the title of the second worst retailer to work for, so you know they're pretty bad. The company has also been accused of using their power and money to twist stories into their favor, like the famous one where a woman sued McDonald's after she was burned on their hot coffee, and the media painted this woman as a money-hungry idiot, when in reality McDonald's really was at fault and she actually won the case, because with all the evidence presented, it was pretty clear that the coffee truly was too hot. And she was not the first person to complain about it. Over 700 customers suffered from burns from their drinks. Evidence also proved that McDonald's coffee was served 30 to 40 degrees hotter than other companies. So if you heard that story the way McDonald's wanted you to, you would side with the company. But if you heard the true facts, it's clear McDonald's was in the wrong here and wanted to bully her into a settlement. Next up at number 8, TikTok. So TikTok is one that we have talked about on the channel before. The most shocking thing about the company to me, that I'm shocked that no one's really talking about, is the fact that they ban people they consider ugly, overweight, or poor from getting on their For You page. An example of this happening is when they took down videos of Lizzo in a swimsuit, but kept up other videos of girls dancing in swimsuits like Charli D'Amelio. The company has also had a huge problem with child predators and has not done much about it. And there's also a lot of speculation that since the company is Chinese owned, they censor any political speech, especially when it's against the Chinese Communist Party. Up at number 7, Volkswagen. So this is one I completely forgot about, but I just need to bring it back because it is incredibly shocking and I think you guys really need to know it. A few years back, Volkswagen got in a huge scandal when the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, found that many VW cars being sold in America had a defeat device or software in diesel engines that could detect when they were being tested, changing the performance accordingly to improve results. So essentially, they made the vehicle improve its emissions while being tested in order to dupe customers and the government into thinking they are more eco-friendly than they are. And after this came out, the company admitted to the whole thing. The EPA's findings included 482,000 cars in the US only, including the VW manufactured Audi A3 and various VW models. But VW has admitted that about 11 million cars worldwide, including 8 million in Europe, are also fitted with this so-called defeat device. And of course, after all of this, their stock price fell off a cliff. This also resulted in the company paying huge fines to various countries affected. And at number 6, Juul. So Juul is another company that's very controversial and is at the center of a lot of debate about e-cigarettes and other vaping devices. Tobacco use has been declining for teenagers over the years, but with the recent rise of e-cigs, many young people are picking up the habit once again. The stats show that e-cigarette use has more than doubled among high schoolers from 2017 to 2019. Many have blamed Juul and its small portable e-cigarettes for contributing to the rise in underage nicotine use and addiction. The Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids says Juuls may have especially high doses of nicotine that can hook users, giving the brand a really bad look. As well, they have fruity and sweet flavors that also lure in kids. But after a ton of backlash against the company and its products, the US government banned all fruity, dessert, or mint flavors from cartridge-based e-cigarettes like Juul's. So the company definitely took a hit with that one. Halfway through at number 5, RyanAir. RyanAir is a European airline known for super cheap travel between European cities. But they have had a slew of PR disasters that have caused a lot of people to think differently about them. One time that got a lot of press was when they failed to remove a racist passenger from one of their flights. And some were more angry that they made the victim of the attack change seats, not the attacker themselves. And what many saw as a negligent move, the airline only reacted and contacted police after the attack went viral on social media. Then when they did apologize, it was a very brief and half-assed apology that many felt was not sincere. And it was too little too late. As a result, campaigners urged passengers to boycott the airline, and hashtag RyanAir is racist began trending on Twitter. Up at number 4, SeaWorld. So SeaWorld's public image has been tarnished for a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest is from the huge documentary Blackfish that focused on the horrible living conditions of their famous orca whales. After the documentary got lots of attention, their stock fell 33% after they admitted attendance to its flagship San Diego Sea Park had slowed in the second quarter. And then huge activist organizations like PETA got involved and begged SeaWorld to release the killer whales from captivity. Legislation is now being proposed in California to study the impact of captivity on large marine animals and whether they should be released. Wells Fargo even ended up downgrading the company, saying competitive pressures and media fallout appear modestly greater than originally thought. This all resulted in SeaWorld pledging mass upgrades to the habitats of its orca whales, doubling the size of their tanks and building treadmills for exercise. But PETA didn't see this move as a step up, calling this tank upgrade as just a desperate drop in the bucket move. Ouch. Let me know below if documentaries like Blackfish made you second guess going to SeaWorld or other places like that, or even zoos. Has that had an impact on you? Let me know below. In at number 3, Yum Brands. Yum Brands, which owns brands like KFC and Taco Bell, got in a lot of hot water after it was discovered that they were selling expired meat, and even meat that fell on the floor, by mixing it with good meat. A television report in China depicted a popular meat supplier to the chain intentionally selling expired meat. Yum Brands said the news coverage, which triggered a government investigation, resulted in a significant negative impact to the sales at its restaurants. And like, no right? McDonald's was also another company caught up in this scandal, and their Asian sales dropped more than 7% as a result of the food quality issues. And as a result, both companies apologized and dropped the supplier. But it can be hard to forget something like this after you hear about it, so it's not crazy to assume that their sales dipped for a while after the incident. Next up at number 2, Monsanto. So Monsanto is one that's hard not to talk about, considering that when you search their name, one of the first results is Monsanto is evil. No joke. And they are widely known as one of the most hated companies on earth. So now you're probably asking, why? Well, the company has had a long history of developing dangerous products that have harmed customers and even left permanent damage to American fields. The company has also gotten a lot of media attention for enforcing their seeding policies using scare tactics and other similar tactics used by the mafia. They use these tactics to be feared by American farmers, and they hit any farmer who does not comply with their outrageous policies with expensive lawsuits. And the reason they can get away with this is because they essentially have a monopoly over the American seed business, accounting for 90% of America's soybean seeds. Some of the specific tactics they use are going into fields and farm towns and secretly videotaping farmers and store owners, infiltrating community meetings, and using informants to gather info on farmers. Yeah, sounds like the mafia to me. They've even been said to try and pressure farmers into signing papers that give Monsanto access to their private records. Their team of agents are referred to by farmers as the seed police, and people use words such as Gestapo and mafia to describe their tactics. One of the most controversial policies is that farmers are not able to save any seeds for replanting, forcing them to buy new seeds each year, even though reusing old seeds has been a practice used since ancient times. So yeah, I can see why this company is incredibly problematic. Hopefully the government does something about these tactics to protect farmers. Let me know any more about Monsanto that I missed below, because straight up there is so much on this company. And finally, at number 1, Boeing. So this one's actually kind of recent. If you recall, Boeing got in a huge scandal and faced a ton of lawsuits following incidents with their 737 MAX jetliner. In October 2018, a Boeing 737 MAX crashed shortly after takeoff. Then a similar incident took place in March of 2019. Over 150 people were killed in both accidents. As a result, the FAA grounded all further flights of the 737 MAX, and Boeing suspended its production. But the huge backlash came when it was discovered that Boeing knew of this issue for years, but did not disclose the information. Engineers told CNN that the main issue was that the 737 MAX relied on a single sensor that's prone to malfunctions, and it would only work correctly with an optional safety feature that a lot of airlines did not purchase. In both crashes, it appeared this sensor sent a signal that the plane was stalling when it wasn't, causing the planes to crash. Allegedly, Boeing first knew of these issues in 2017, but the company executives did not think it risked customers' safety enough to do anything about it. And I remember after this, anyone who had a flight coming up using the 737 MAX had to make this decision whether to follow through with the flight and potentially risk their lives. It was a really, really weird time. Let me know in the comments if you remember this happening, because I remember everyone was losing their shit about it. Rightfully so. Okay guys, so that's all for this list. Let me know any brands that shocked you or scandals that you forgot about. Also, let me know any more that I missed that could be in a part 3. There is literally so many, it's wild. But before I go, I'm gonna shout out a few comments from part 1. So Stephanie Smead said, I think canceled is not the right definition, as not much has changed with these companies. Canceled would be like obliterated or closed. I agree, a lot of the ones we're mentioning here weren't like permanently canceled or shut down, but I would say a lot of these companies did take a temporary sales hit and definitely a huge brand hit. So they were more or less temporarily canceled, but of course not permanent. Then Michelle Greenfield said, seriously, they should refer to 2020 as the canceled year, because it feels like everything and everyone is canceled everywhere. Also, bravo IO team for great videos. Thanks so much for that. And agreed, I think with all the free time we all now have, people are becoming a lot more critical of things that they maybe just wouldn't have time to be critical of before. Then Christina Washington said, they are definitely listening to us. Me and my mom were talking about my pregnancy, and I literally saw ad after ad about baby products on Facebook, even though I didn't search anything, seeing as I'm still in my first trimester. Ooh, thanks for sharing, very juicy. Yeah, I think there are just so many stories of this happening. It's undeniable at this point, like we know what's happening. Okay guys, thank you so much for those comments, and thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe down below to never miss an upload. Thanks again for watching guys, and I will see you in my next one.